So we've made it back to the La Placa de Catalunya. We're going to be picking up the hop on, hop off tour here. So if you're looking at doing one, this is the first stop. First start of the bus leaves at 9. The last one leaves at 5 p.m. So it's a great way to see the city without having to do all the walking. So the Estacio de Franca, it is an old train station that barely any trains go into anymore. But when Albert Einstein came to Barcelona from Toulon, he came in through there. Next stop is a very popular stop, as you can see. So this is going to be Casa Batillo. So Casa Batillo, it was originally built in 1877 by Emil Sala Cortez, who is one of Gaudi's professors. Now, in 1903, Joseph Batillo Casanovas, a textile industrialist, acquired the building and gave Gaudi full artistic freedom to remodel it. Rather than demolishing the old structure, Gaudi carried out a comprehensive transformation between 1904 and 1906. The Batillo family inhabited it until the mid-20th century. Later, it passed through various owners. In 1993, the Bernat family, owners of Chupa Chupas, purchased it, restored it, and opened it for public visits. In 2005, Casa Batillo was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site as part of the works of Antoni Gaudi. Recently, the rear facade and private patio were restored to reflect the original design in 1906. Now, the facade uses trincados or broken tile mosaic in hues of blue, green, lavender, and other marine colors, evoking an underwater or sea-inspired world. The balconies and columns resemble bones or masks. Locals sometimes call it Casa de los Osos, or House of Bones. The roof is often interpreted as the back of a dragon with scale-like tiles and a cross interpreted as St. George's sword on top. The four-armed crosses atop the roof is said to represent St. George's sword, reinforcing the legend aspects. Now, you are able to go in here. They do offer guided tours. And one thing I heard is that when it got remodeled, the neighbors hated it so much that when the family would walk down the street, they would be ignored because they just felt that it would bring down the value of the property. Little did they know that eventually become one of the most famous structures in Barcelona. But there's a big crowd here, so it's a very popular place to see. If you come here during the day, try and come here around noon if you're hungry. You can plan lunch around here. There's a bunch of little restaurants and cafes and some shopping as well. You got Armani's, Max & Co. There's all kinds of different shops right around here. So the street comes right through here, right through the arch and down. That's what makes this great for the start and finish line for the marathons and parades. And as you can see, this red brick, it's very bright, very vibrant. And it's a nice contrast to the Arch de Triomphe and the arches in Rome that are made out of marble. Now, as we walk through here, I want you to pay attention to the lights. I'm going to show them to you. But these lights, just imagine 1888, they're leading the way for people to get to the Citadel Park. They give you a great place for you to sit down and relax. Every light has benches built into it. It's really cool. There's 10 sets of lights on each side. So that gives you 40 seating for 80 people comfortably out here. So it was very well thought out of. And I really like how the arch, if you look at it, this pathway just comes right through here and it leads to the Citadel Park, which is our next stop. How about that? Some wild like parakeets that you can go over there, and I guess they're not too wild if they're sitting over there hopping on your hand and eating food from it. But that's pretty cool. Now, sadly, the fountain is not working right now. They're working on renovating it and repairing it. But what I want you to do is I want you to just imagine Barcelona in the 18th century. After the Long War in 1714, the city fell to King Philip V in the War of Spanish Succession. Now, to assert control, he ordered the construction of a great fortress, or the citadel, and that's where the park gets its name, the Park of the Citadel. And he wanted it right inside of the city. He wanted a massive, imposing building that was meant to keep the local population in check. That fortress, called the Citadella, was built between 1716 and 1718 with the help of engineer Verboom. Now, on land here where there were homes and a convent and even a canal. And over 1,200 houses were torn down, displacing thousands of people in order for this to be built. Now, needless to say, that didn't go very well with the locals. Now, over time, it became deeply unpopular, a symbol of oppression. So, in the mid-19th century, after political changes, notably after the Revolution of 1868, the fortress was demolished mostly. And in 1869, the remaining grounds were handed over to Barcelona for public use. From these ruins, the city planned its first true public park. The idea was to turn a hated military stronghold into a place where everyone could enjoy and have fun, and it would bring happiness. So to prepare for the 1888 Barcelona World's Fair, the park underwent significant design and development. Now today, you're going to find lush gardens and walking paths, boating on the lake, sculptures and monuments. The zoo is here, as well as museums. You have the Catalan Parliament building, and cultural life and gatherings happen here. They even have a woolly mammoth. The boats are open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and it is from €7 to €11, depending on how many people are in the boat. The fewer the people, the fewer the price. Going up to 5 people in the boat being the €11. I just noticed they have birdhouses set up in the trees for the birds. That's pretty nice. Well, that completes our time at the Parc de Citadella, or Citadel Park, or Park of the Citadel. What do you think? I like it. It's pretty cool. And this is a great place for there to be the World's Fair. You can put a lot of stuff in this park. And I like it a lot better than a Citadel. So 218,863 bricks. It weighs 502 kilograms, and it took 1,223 hours to put this together. And it's so authentic. It even has the crane, because there's still a crane because it's still being built. If you have €1,000, you too can have a full-size Death Star.